Hello and welcome everyone back to yet another episode of Red Cape Sports. My name is Bird Bouchard. Thank you all so much for clicking on this video. I'm really excited to do this one. This is a video that I've been wanting to do for quite some time now. So as you guys can see, and also by the title of the video, today I'm going to be going over my top 5 undervalued cards. Now this isn't necessarily to say that there's a formula to this, but rather this is just 5 cards that I've kind of identified that I will also personally be trying to acquire over the next little bit. So without further ado, guys, thanks so much for watching, but we're gonna jump into it. Alright guys, so as you guys can see on the screen here, all this stuff is going to be provided by Card Ladder. But my first card that I want to mention here is, of course, the 1991 Upper Deck of Dominik Hasek in the PSA 10 form. And I get it, you know, at the end of the day, hockey goalies, they don't get a lot of love. But that's actually why I wanted to mention them within this video. It's the fact that they don't get love yet. From all the data that we're seeing, from just being in the hobby, speaking to a lot of people, hockey as a sport within the hobby is definitely starting to grow. And as more Americans within the betting culture, sneaker culture, or even just Americans who tend to love both basketball and football, when they jump into the hobby, you know, I believe this card is still undervalued. As you guys can see here, the pop is still 158 for a PSA 10. But more importantly, as I scroll down, my oh my, look at this price, $184 American. It's absolutely mind-boggling at exactly where this card stands. This is his true rookie card. It's probably the card to have, and it's $184. And when you compare that to other GOATs, obviously for hockey in the NHL, there's a long-lasting debate of who the GOAT is. But regardless, Dominik Hasek, even if you don't think he's the GOAT, a lot of people tend to put him in their top 3. So with that being said, this is why they put him in his top 3. As I'm looking up his stats here on Hockey Reference, I'll just go through them, guys. Look at this. Look at the amount of times he led the league in save percentage. And that's a lot in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And he also led that same year, which is ridiculous. He played 72 games, was an absolute workhorse. Most shots against, most saves, save percentage. This guy was an absolute beast. But guys, let's look it up here. He's a Hall of Famer. Okay, check that. 2-time Stanley Cup winner, 6-time All-Star, 3-time Jennings. I'm not going to read those all off because you guys can see that. But this man was absolutely incredible. Won Stanley Cups, won Olympic gold medals, single-handedly, basically. But this is what's truly mind-boggling. Look at this. Look at all those awards. Absolutely ridiculous. They save percentage. All those times he's won. Goals saved above average. This man was absolutely phenomenal. In my opinion, Dominik Hasek is the GOAT of goaltending for hockey. There are certainly a lot of great options there. But again, guys, definitely look into Dominik Hasek. The Pop Report, 158. I get it. Most people will say, hey, well, it's on the high. But I believe that the love for Dominik Hasek hasn't quite caught up yet, and it will eventually boom. So this isn't necessarily going to be a short-term flip. But if you guys are looking to, spend less than $200 on a PSA 10 of a GOAT, of a legend, guys, I'm telling you, Dominik Hasek, this card, it's only a matter of time till it booms. Alright guys, so moving on to card option number 2. I know I'm on record saying in the past that I didn't necessarily like Jayson Tatum as a phenomenal investment. And I'm going to go on the record now and say Jayson Tatum is currently a phenomenal investment, having actually done the homework, done my due diligence, and realistically, just looking at the way that this young man has played, his leadership, the market he's playing in. Guys, we're going to jump into this. First and foremost, this pop report, 4,660. That is significantly lower than other Prism pop reports that we've seen from the likes of Luka Doncic, Zion Williamson, so on and so forth. It's crazy. You know, that's a really small pop report, and people tend to love the Prism. But I want to bring you guys down to this amazing graph as I zoom in a little bit. Guys, this is ridiculous. At the high, it was 1,155 American dollars. The current price, as you guys can see over here, $641. So this card has lost a lot of traction, as you guys can see even more so clear on the graph there. And what I find interesting too is that was right around August in the NBA bubble. Was right around September, October, if I do remember correctly. So kind of interesting to see the prices drop. But more importantly, as we bring up Jason Tatum's stats here, guys, he's 22 years old. And as you can see here, 13 points, next season 15, then he crawled up to 23, and now 25. He's becoming one of the better guards within the league. He plays for a historic franchise, and 25 points a game at just 22 years young, you know, that to me is not too shabby. Obviously, voted in as an all-star, and he's performing well. So obviously, you know, he's still eluding a ring, but he's just 22 years young. And I'm not saying that his cards will ever reach you know, $1,155 again. But what I am saying is at the current price with the pop report and the way he's playing, you know, I would be arguably considering picking one up. You know, when we speak about undervalued cards, in my opinion, this is going to be one of them. Alright guys, moving on to the third undervalued card here. As you guys can see here, via Card Ladder, I currently have up the compare tool, and that is going to be ultra important. Guys, the NFL, right? Quarterbacks, people love them, and currently it is the off season, so most aren't really thinking of the NFL, but us savvy investors, we are definitely thinking about sports currently not being aired on television. Just for that reason, you know, some of these cards you can pick up for, in my opinion, some really good deals now. And as Mitch and I have mentioned in previous videos, injuries, they suck, they're unfortunate, but sometimes as investors we can capitalize on that. And this is a guy that Mitch and I have both been pretty high on for a very long time. You know, I've got to see him as an Ohio State fan play a few times, especially in spring games, things like that. But Joe Burrow was absolutely phenomenal, and as I bring up Card Ladder's compare tool here, I'm going to compare him with none other, that's right guys, Justin Herbert. So first and foremost, the pop reports, guys, 285 for Herbert, and Joe Burrow 303. That is almost irrelevant. First, like, at the end of the day, this card just came out. PSA's got a significant backlog, so those will get higher. I'm not sure how much higher, but I promise you, you know, as PSA and even BGS, SGC, all those companies, when they start to catch up, those pop reports will most certainly be higher. The top here is going to be Herbert, and the bottom is going to be Joe Burrow. Now, obviously, Burrow went down with a rather, you know, gruesome injury. A lot are questioning whether or not he can come back and be 100%. I'm of the believer that in 2021, with all these doctors, medicine, technology that we have, we can utilize that to our advantage. And, you know, I'm a firm believer that Burrow's a really strong guy, big competitor, and he's going to want to come back healthy. So, as you guys can see here, look at that. So, again, Herbert being the top, the bottom being Burrow. This is pretty close to, it's damn near close to doubling of price. And obviously, don't get me wrong, Justin Herbert is a phenomenal player, but I picked him as a comparison tool because that's probably the closest. You know, they were both rookies, they were both phenomenal out of the gate. The only difference is one got injured. And if you guys look at that, $710 compared to $1,350, It's absolutely mind-boggling to say that Justin Herbert is, twice or double the better player than Joe Burrow is. I think you'd be hard-pressed to convince someone of that. So, again, I just want to bring up Joe Burrow's stats for when he was healthy and playing. Second game ever, 300-yard game with 3 touchdowns. Third game ever, 300-yard game, 2 touchdowns. Then he followed that up, so 3 straight games with 300 yards or more. I believe that was some sort of NFL record. The man just is incredible. I'm telling you all, he's phenomenal. Another 400-yard game. So at the end of the day, 10 games, he had 2,600 yards. I'm a firm believer that he definitely would have cracked 3,000 yards. Now, what if he gotten to Herbert? What if he gotten to Herbert's even touchdowns? I don't know. Probably not. But at the end of the day, I am banking on Joe Burrow to be one hell of a quarterback for many, many more years to come. This one might be, more risky for people, so if you do want to go the PSA 9 route, sure, go ahead. All I'm saying here is basically for half the price of Justin Herbert. In my honest, humble opinion, that card is definitely severely undervalued. Alright guys, so moving on to card number 4. However, we are going to be sticking with the NFL and quarterbacks. Guys, Lamar Jackson. Showtime Jackson. Honestly, I get chills even thinking of this. The pop report on this is super low for PSA 10. 537 of them. Absolutely low. Now, again, I do understand that this card for most might be a bit pricey. So again, guys, basically this can be applied for PSA 9s and even raw cards. But just for consistency, I do want to just keep everything consistent with the PSA 10. Now, as we scroll down, this data is going from 2019 all the way to now. You guys can see it, right? The top there, $3,000, and the current price, $950. Now, is that a direct reason for why his card is undervalued? No, honestly, it's not. For sure, I'm not saying it could go up to $3,000. I'm not even saying that it'll get up to $2,000. But what I am saying is, Lamar Jackson, that injury certainly, for lack of better terms here, it definitely took a hit to him as a football player. A lot of people still believe that in the playoffs, he can't get it done. But honestly, I'm a firm believer of that. I believe moments, so to speak, tend to sell really well within the sports card hobby. And a guy who is honestly probably the closest thing that we've had to a Michael Vick, and a guy who can run and throw the ball, that's very exciting to me. And I believe that the Ravens are a really good team. I believe, obviously, as I bring up his stats here, this guy's been to a Pro Bowl, Guys, he's a league MVP, as you can see here. He's an all-pro. He's actually really, really good. And a lot of people last year actually were bashing him, saying that he had a bad season. But I don't know about that. In 2020, 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 2,700 yards. And then obviously, of course, he added a lot on the ground. So in my opinion, it really wasn't that bad of an NFL season. The issue, however, is we compared it to his second year in the league, guys, is what we compared it to. And as you can see here, that's clearly the year that he won the league MVP with 36 touchdowns. The QBR of 83. We all know Showtime Jackson, he was absolutely amazing. And again, guys, he's just 23 years young. So I believe he's got a ton of upside. I believe that the pandemic-riddled season, if you want to even call it that, maybe affect him a little bit. Obviously, coming off injury too, that certainly had a little bit to do with it. I know he wasn't fully healthy. So with that being said, even at the current price there of $950 American dollars, seeing where he could go, I'm going to go off on a limb here and say Lamar Jackson is a significantly undervalued card. So definitely let me know down below in the comments if you guys believe he is as well. Alright guys, so moving on to the fifth and final undervalued card within this video. Again, I'm bringing out the compare tool because I believe that will probably help me make my opinion here. So growing up, watching baseball as a young kid, specifically during the early 2000s. But what I like to remember is around 2010, and what a great year that was for baseball. 2011 specifically, when the St. Louis Cardinals won it all. But at that time, there was two absolute feared hitters in baseball, being Miguel Cabrera, arguably speaking a future Hall of Famer, and Albert Pujols, another Hall of Famer. And you guys guessed it, I'm going to be comparing their cards. So the top is going to be Miggy, the man who won the Triple Crown. Absolute phenomenal ball player, phenomenal hitter. One of the most feared hitters as well. There's definitely a span in time when he actually, had the crown, so to speak. However, the bottom line is going to be Albert Pujols, and I'll show you guys which cards I'm talking about here. So for Miguel Cabrera, we went with his 2000 Topps Traded card. Again, that's going to be the base PSA 10. And then for Albert Pujols, we went with the 2001 Upper Deck Albert Pujols. I know that Pujols does have more cards and things like that, but I did want to mention how this one in particular is rather undervalued. So first and foremost, the pop reports. Miggy's got 1,814 compared to Pujols 1,185. So right off the bat, 600-700 difference. If you want to go ahead in that way. But look at this. So this is going to show us the most recent sale, which as of the recording of this video was less than 48 hours ago. My oh my. So Miguel Cabrera's sold for 1,100 American dollars, whereas Pujols 679. Now, for those of you who maybe don't follow baseball, I do want to mention that this is probably going to be Albert Pujols' final season in the league. His wife kind of announced to Twitter saying that this will be his final year in the league. Now, that's actually really beneficial to us. It's not like he's just going to pull off a Marshawn Lynch and tweet during the Super Bowl halftime show. We know this now. And the same thing happened with Derek Jeter. We knew Derek Jeter when his last season would be, and he gained a lot of media attention because we knew for sure that was going to be his last season. Now I get it, obviously there's a lot of rumors saying that, he might sign again, so on and so forth. Well, even if he doesn't, Shohei Ohtani is absolutely lighting it up in spring training now. That's a phenomenal athlete who can both hit home runs, and I mean monster home runs, and he's throwing 100 miles per hour and he's striking guys out left and right too. And then of course, probably the best baseball player in the league right now, and Mike Trout is also on his team. So Albert Pujols, for those reasons, and for also the pricing that you guys see on the screen here, in my opinion, he's significantly undervalued. But if you guys need just a little more taste in terms of undervalued, 3-time MVP, 10-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glove, batting title, 3-time, guys, what hasn't he done? Rookie of the Year, 2-time World Series champion, 6-time Silver Slugger. The man is absolutely phenomenal. Guys, look at this. Again, anything bolded is what he led the entire league in. So he's led the league in hits, led the league in runs multiple times, home runs. Look at this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Where is it here? His first 10 seasons basically. The man was a tank. So it wasn't up until 2011, also the same year where he helped lead the St. Louis Cardinals to a World Series championship. Look at that. This 99 RBI. So had he gone to 100 RBIs, he would have been the only man in MLB history to go 11 years in a row having batted at least 300, at least 100 RBIs, and at least 100 home runs. The man is absolutely phenomenal. 662 career home runs, 2,100 RBIs. I believe there's only one other man to ever eclipse 2,000 RBIs. I can't say enough about Albert Pujols as a baseball player. Absolutely phenomenal. As I scroll down here, just look at all those awards, look at all those, everything, guys. You know, honestly, I understand I'm a St. Louis Cardinal fan, and maybe I should be a bit upset that, you know, he signed with the Angels, but you really can't be mad at Albert Pujols. First ballot Hall of Famer. In my opinion, I believe he will reach 100% votes. You know, I believe it's going to be 100% consensus that he will make the Hall of Fame, and that's even yet another reason to invest in him. And as we all know, Hall of Fame, you know, breaking records, things like that tend to add more value to sports cards. But again, you know, when we compare him to Miguel Cabrera, obviously, you know, Miguel Cabrera was a phenomenal player, but, you know, bring up his stats there, and we'll actually do that really quick here as well. Already knowing the kind of stats that I showed you that Albert Pujols has, but the career home runs, you know, Miggy beats him there. Batting average, you know, I believe it is Miggy, but even in career RBIs, you know, he's still basically 400 behind, which is actually a lot. So, you know, at the end of the day, both phenomenal players, but I got to give the edge to Albert Pujols, and for those reasons and many more, like, hopefully I've done a good job articulating and putting these points across. Guys, I'm telling you, this Albert Pujols 2001 Upper Deck PSA 10 is significantly undervalued. So there you guys go. That is going to do it for this episode of Red Cape Sports. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys agree with my picks, definitely be sure to leave a thumbs up, as it is the #1 way to support this YouTube channel. And if you guys didn't agree, or if I left anyone out, or anyone that you think should have made the video, definitely go ahead and leave us a comment down below letting us know. So until next time, guys, take care.